Hi YouTube, how are you guys doing? So today I am going to do a video all about my new nose piercing, which some people noticed in the last video. I did get my septum pierced, which if you didn't know, your septum, there's like a little piece of tissue that's inside of your nose that you can actually pierce through. That's not cartilage, it's nothing like that. So I decided last Monday to go ahead and do it, and here is my 1 week update and my experience getting it. So if you're wondering why I got this, it's because I wanted to. Basically, I've been thinking about getting some type of piercing for a long time. When I was in middle school, it was like my lip pierced, and then when I started getting older, I really liked the way that the nose rings looked, but the traditional nose rings just don't look right on me. And so the past year or so, I've been looking at girls that had septum piercings, and I thought they looked really cool. And so much of my appearance over the last 2 years has been out of my control with cancer treatment, and so I was like, you know what, I'm doing it. So I decided last Monday to go and get my septum pierced. I did it alone because you can't have people with you during the experience because of COVID, and I surprised my husband and I called him on FaceTime after I was done getting it. And so I'm going to tell you like a little bit about the experience, pain, etc. So I have a deviated septum, which is where your septum is not exactly straight, and so that's something you need to think about if you want to get a septum piercing. With a deviated septum, it makes it a lot more difficult. So the piercing actually, if you look up inside my nose, it's kind of crooked, but that's on purpose to make it appear straight when you look straight at me, because if they pierced it just the way that my nose is, it would be looking really wonky because I have a deviated septum. So when you actually get your nose pierced like this, you actually you're laying down and you lay your head back hanging off this like piercing table, because that's how they can see inside of your nose and make sure that they're doing it correctly. So it is a very strange like position that you're in, but you're in it for a very short time, so it's not a big deal. For me, I was afraid. Obviously, I've had my ears pierced, but that's the only piercing I've had, like body piercing, and so I was nervous about the pain, but I just told myself, like, girl, you already did like 25 rounds of chemo, you could do like a nose piercing. And so I went in there, and actually, being completely honest, I am a baby with pain still, even though everything I've gone through. It was not very painful. I would say it was probably like a 2 out of a 10. The most painful part of it is when they have to put the ring or whatever you're gonna get put in. That is what hurts, because it's like newly pierced, and so when they put it in, it hurts. And when I left the piercing studio, it didn't really hurt at all. I think the most pain that I've ever had with this piercing is about 2 days after I got it done. It like came where you can see the seam of the ring, and so I had to kind of like push it back up, and that hurt like a biatch. I was like, my tears were coming out of my eyes, but that is the most painful. And then also the only pain I've had really with it is if I forget that it's there and I kind of hit my nose, then that's not good. But other than that, it's fine. I went with a gold ring because like it's truly gold, because I have very sensitive skin, and so I was afraid that if I went with anything that was like synthetic type materials, that I would have an allergic reaction, because with my ears I have to wear only like real metals, or else I'll have like swollen itchy ears. And so I just went with that. It was more expensive obviously, but I know that I can keep it in for a long time. The best thing about this piercing, if you're thinking about doing it, is if you get one of those septum rings where it's like 2 balls or 2 whatever hanging at the end, you can flip it into your nose, and so people won't even know that you have the piercing. So if you need to cover it up for work or whatever, I also like it because if I decide that I don't like it anymore, I can take it out and there's no visible scarring. It's only inside of your nose, and so far it's been very easy to clean. Like, you just pretty much spray like saline solution into your nose, and then one time at night I kind of soak like cotton pads and put them in my nose around where the piercing is. But other than that, it's really been like low maintenance. And then now with people obviously wearing masks everywhere, you can't even really ever tell that I have the piercing unless I know you, like, and I'm talking to you like this, or that's about it, because when you go out in public, let's face it, half your face is covered, and so it's a great time to kind of heal something like this. You also have to leave it in for, I think, like the full 4-month healing process. You can't just like take the jewelry out and go on about your day, put it back in during the healing time. You have to leave it in. But overall, my experience was positive. I'm happy I did it. I know that the look is not for everyone, but my husband likes it, I like it, and I am like a creative alternative type person at heart, if you couldn't tell already. And so I like it because it reflects who I really am on the inside, as opposed to before I was sick, I was trying to fit into like some corporate type look and all that, and now this is me. I'm a artistic, creative type person. So that is everything I wanted to share with you about my experience so far. Like I said, it was positive, it wasn't very painful, and I'm happy with it. If you have any questions about the piercing, feel free to leave it below. Happy to answer you. I'm not an expert by any means, but I'll be happy to answer you with my experience. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.